Hi, this is Dorothy with close to my heart, of course, but Scrapbooking. And I just wanted to do a scrap page made with scraps. I am using the Make It From Your Heart, a new Volume 5 pattern book for pages and for cards. And so I am just starting at the beginning and using pattern 1. And this shows the cutting guide, what the schematic of the page is going to look like, and then some examples of different papers that were used to show how the pattern looks. So you can see that one is as the pattern is, but on the bottom one, they flipped the page upside down so that the grid or lattice work, whatever you want to call it, is in the opposite direction. So I decided to use the paper that's handy. So of course I've got Daisy Meadow out right now, and it's on my desktop, my table that I work with. And so I just took some of the pages that I had left and I cut them into, according to the directions, 1/2-inch strips. So the strips that go vertically are 7.5 inches, and the strips that go horizontally are 8 inches. So you pick out 3. Whoops, sorry, there was, the doorbell was ringing, and I got a package from close to my heart, so that's always fun. Okay, so I think what I was saying is you need to pick out 3 pages that are compatible, either came in the same packet or, however, they work together. And so that's what I did. So these are the Daisy Meadows, 3 of the Daisy Meadows, or 2 of the Daisy Meadow pages, and I'm using the flip side of one of them. So the instructions say to come down 3.5 inches from the top. And so what I'm doing here is, number 1, sorting to make sure I get the right strip on the right vertical or horizontal. And I am laying them out with about 1/8 of an inch between each of the strips. And I'm doing it in a regular pattern. So the peacock background, and then the plaid, and then the, I think it's saffron gingham is next. So that is the pattern that I'm going to use both vertically and horizontally. So that keeps things, they're different, but it's a regular pattern. And, I think it just helps to, number 1, make sure that you've got each of the patterns going in, all the directions, and you're not missing out on one or putting too many of another. Anyway, it adds a little control to the chaos is sort of what's going on here. So it's peacock, plaid, saffron, peacock, plaid, saffron, both ways. And so I've got all of the verticals tacked in place just at the very end. And then I'm going 1 inch over from the left and about 1 inch down from the line going across the top. So once again, it's peacock, plaid, saffron, and I continue going down till I've used up all of my strips. So there's 3, 6, there's 9 strips for both vertical and horizontal. And then the picture that they suggest is a 5x7. So I cut a piece of the peacock background in 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. But you could do it 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 and use a 4x6, or you could you know, put in 3x4s instead of a 4x6. You could, so, you know, just depending on the size pictures that you want is the size of the background that you make. I chose to go with what they showed, which was 5x7. And so now I'm doing the weave, you know, on top, under, on top, under, on top, under. So, and then when you go to this next strip, you want to do the opposite of what you did right from the one above. So you want to go under, on top, under, on top, under, on top. So you just kind of have to pay attention to what you're doing. And yeah, it's a little bit tedious, but, you know, sort of worth it. I think this is probably the best way of doing it. If you can come up with a easier way of weaving the strips, that's cool. And you can leave a comment below the video and let us know what you came up with that looked easier than this. It's just, you know, whatever works for you. So it's kind of fun. I kind of feel like, I think we made potholders maybe in the first grade or something, and we had those looms, and the looms taught us that they were probably working on fine motor skills for a first grader. Let me tell you something, at my age I need the fine motor skills too. I'm reverting. I'm like Benjamin Button or whatever, except the opposite. Okay, so, you know, here we're doing our potholder weave, and it's kind of fun, and it kind of makes a really cool looking design. So it's kind of easy to get right at the very beginning to go under instead of over. I think I did that once and realized it. But and then I can straighten up the strips, you know, at the end of it, so that they're nice and even. So kind of scooching, doing a lot of scooching here. So I've got it all flattened out. Now what I'm going to do is just tack the end pieces down, but I think I'm going to make them more permanent using the glue. It's a little bit easier too. Yeah, see, I messed up one of the strips. I realized I had done 2 overs instead of a under, over and under. Anyway, far be it from me to get something perfect right off the bat. This is a repeat. How weird. Why is that doing that? Okay, I'm not sure what happened. Sometimes weird things happen with my videos. I'll probably figure it out later on. Anyway, I'm tacking all of the strips in place permanently. It's not really tacking. I'm gluing them in place permanently so that they don't come undone over a period of time. I will have a picture on top of that, so it should be, so I'm just making sure that I've got that done correctly. I think that I messed up one of the strips. So anyway, no big deal. You know, you can go and redo before you glue. And is it a big deal anyway? Nah, who's going to see it? Who's going to realize that, whoops. So the pretty flowers are the flip side of that beautiful peacock background. And I love the flowers. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. But I think this is a, you know, not, I didn't want to make it real flowery. It's a little more, I don't know, a little more tapered kind of look. And so that's the 5x7 photo placeholder with just 1/8 of an inch showing all around, because the background is cut at 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. And I'm putting it at an angle, which is what they suggest on the pattern. But see, if you did it that way, It works either way. So whichever you prefer. And I really like this pattern. So now, in the true meaning of scraps, I went into my stash of complements for the papers over the years. And I found these complements that have small titles on them. See, and those are great titles. You Are Loved Right Now. And then they've got memories. And so I'm going to go ahead and use memories and hope that I spelled it correctly. But these were all just little titles ready to go. So those were some really cool compliments that we had from quite a few years ago. And then they had this, I do like that right now, or You Are Loved. You know what? I'm going to be using those. So there's a nice little vine of gold to match the gold on the memories. And very, very cool. I was glad I went into my stash of stuff. I could have used some of the things off of the sticker sheet from Daisy Meadows, but I didn't really have something that struck me, because that was kind of springy Easter kind of thing, and I really didn't need any more pages with that. So this is another one of the compliment packages. So it's got today, and these are just great. So that one's definitely I'm leaving those out, because I'm going to try to do this book on a regular basis and go through my leftover papers and make some single page or maybe double page using my scraps, and not doing a particular workshop layout with it. So excuse me. So I'm definitely going to use my layout book. So, and I'm not putting the memories in straight lines. We've got enough straight lines. So I'm just going to do it kind of cattywampus. And I'm just dotting some glue on this totally fun little vine. Gosh, I love this thing. Because it brings the gold down to taking out a little extra piece of cardboard there. It brings the gold down to from the left top to the right bottom. And then I'm kind of thinking, well, there's just, I kind of want something else in there. And I'm just trying to figure out, so I was thinking of putting some journaling up at the top, but I think I'll put the journaling down at the bottom. And I'm just going up like 1/4 of an inch or so between each line. And, I really like my ruler. This is from, what is it, from clubscrapbook.com. It's a great ruler. So anyway, there's some of my journaling lines. And, I was kind of going through looking for, there's some silver. And I think I used up all the little hearts that they show that were there. Or I only had 2 of them or something. Anyway, so I wanted something else up under memories. And I'm just kind of working. That's kind of too big. And that's just kind of like, okay. I didn't want to put You Are Loved and have 2 kind of things. And I love these little gold hearts, but there's only 2 of them. And they're really tiny, and that's just kind of overwhelming. So I'm just kind of going through all this stuff, and it's like, well, it's not quite right. What am I going to do? And, I'm looking through the other compliment thing to see if there's any other hearts, and they have. That's a nice, good-sized heart. But then it occurred to me that quite a while ago, I didn't want to throw out the scraps of some glitter paper. And so I took all my small punches and I just punched the heck out of my leftover glitter paper and made hearts and scallops and little 1-inch squares and little circles. I even used a hole punch and made some little tiny circles with it. And then I had these little tiny hearts. Perfect size, just a perfect layout. So, for me. So anyway, that's my Make It From the Heart pattern 1. I hope you like it, and I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll be doing more of these. And I'll probably call it Make It From Your Heart pattern 1, pattern 2. So be looking for Make It From Your Heart. And I'll try to remember to name my videos that. Thanks for watching. Bye.